So what did we cover last time? We defined nikah, the Arabic word nikah. Uh, so, in terms of our topic, our legal topic, our religious legal topic, our shari topic, nikah means tazawwuj, so marriage, matrimony, wedlock, which is a contract, a marriage contract. The word nikah, it has in the language this meaning of a marriage contract, and it also has the meaning of sexual intercourse. We talked about that in detail. We cited some of the religious evidence for the legitimacy of marriage. I have here for you this ayah, وَأَنكِحُوا الْأَيَامَ مِنكُمْ. Marry off the unmarried among you. The bachelorettes amongst you. وَالصَّالِحِينَ, etc. So, ankihu, give in marriage, marry off. So that's an evidence for the legitimacy of marriage in the first place. And there's another ayah, فَانْكِحُوا مَا طَابَ لَكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ. Marry what is good for you amongst the women. That's evidence for marriage, as well as hadiths here. Review last time's lesson, inshallah. If you missed last time's lesson, so then take that as a lesson to not miss any lessons. Insha'Allah ta'ala. We said that the people fall into two categories: desirous of marriage and uninterested. These are our word choices. We can change some of these word choices if we want to. And if you have any suggestions, feel free, please. Yani, desirous of marriage. The Arabic word is ta'iq. Ta'iq. Ta'iq means someone who has tawaqan. So basically means has sexual desire. That's the meaning of desirous of marriage. And here, uninterested, what's meant here is does not have sexual desire, or not one that is pressing. It's not meant by uninterested here someone who does have sexual desire but prefers to fulfill that without marriage. That's not meant here by uninterested. I dare say that's a non-Muslim take. To be completely interested in what is only legal by marriage, but completely disinterested in marriage itself. And then the devil will fool the person, and the person would say things like, marriage is such a big step, you know? And yeah, we need time to think about this. It is a big step, that's true. But how the person got fooled by the devil here is that he engaged in what requires marriage without getting married. He or she. And that's going to be major sin. The person who desires marriage is the one that the author is Abu Shuja'. The author's words are in red here. The black is all commentary and explanation. The red is the mere text of Abu Shuja'. The person who desires marriage is the one the author described as needy. And that's what the Muslims say. Someone amongst the Muslims would say, I have a need. He or she means, I want to get married. Or someone would say, he got married for the need. She got married for the need. So this needy one is the one that Abu Shuja' meant when he said, وَالنِّكَاحُ مُسْتَحَبٌّ لِمَنِ احْتَاجَ إِلَيْهِ. Marriage is recommended for who needs it. So this needy one means the one who has desire. Now the marriage, we said it's recommended for a male or a female who needs it. I don't know if we said male or female last time. We did talk about the male last time. We didn't talk about the female yet. We're still talking about the male here. It is recommended for a male or a female, but all the coming details, the immediate details here are for the male. And then we'll come to the female too. It's recommended for the male if he can afford it. If he can afford its expenses, we're going to mention what its expenses are. We're going to see what it means for him to be able to afford marriage. And we have another case here. I mentioned it for you last week. I won't repeat it now. Review if you want. And whenever it is recommended for someone to get married, it's disliked to not get married. If it is recommended, if a person falls under the category of someone that is recommended for him to get married, then it's disliked for him to not get married. Who is this one who is recommended for him to get married? This male. He is the one who has desire and he can afford it. When it says right here is recommended for the male and female who needs it, that means it has desire. And also, so that's one thing. That the desire is a condition for the recommendation of marriage. It's one condition, not all of the conditions. And two, he can afford it. And then when it is recommended for him to get married, is disliked for him to not, then it will be disliked for him to not get married. There's detail here. I don't feel like explaining it right now. I don't want to take the time for now to explain it. And it is disliked for other than who has already been mentioned. So basically what's in this document here is, it says right here, the legal ruling of marriage is, then it breaks off. First case is recommended. When it's recommended, if he needs it and he can afford it, that's one ruling, recommended. There's another ruling. Sometimes it's obligatory. When it would be obligatory, I'm skipping that right now. And here's another ruling. It would be disliked sometimes. It's going to be disliked for the one that is not recommended for him and it's not obligatory for him. That includes someone who is unable to perform due to impotence, erectile dysfunction, or due to a missing penis. Even if he can afford it, it's gonna now be not recommended for him. And it's not recommended for someone who lacks interest and he lacks the funds. He's neither pressed to get married, nor does he even have the funds to do it. Then it's disliked for him to get married, because then he would be needlessly committing himself to something that he's unable to fulfill in terms of the funds. I think that's clear. And if any of these happen after actually getting married, Yani, he got married already, then he became unable due to impotence, for example. Or he became uninterested. Or he lacked the funds. then doesn't necessarily have the same judgment as before marriage. For these things to happen after you already got married is not going to have necessarily the same judgment as before you got married. So what we are talking about right now, as far as being disliked or recommended, is for someone who is not married at the moment. Should he commit and get married? Sometimes that's recommended. Sometimes that's disliked. And the things that make it disliked, sometimes they might happen after he already became married. Then if he's after he's already married, so if he became unable to perform after becoming married, or became disinterested after getting married, or lacked the funds after getting married, then I don't have the details here. So if you need to ask, then ask. But it's not necessarily the same as before getting married. Any question here? Now, it's not disliked for someone without performance problems. Someone he does not have a problem performing. And he can't afford it. But he's uninterested. Yani he's not pressed to get married. If he were to get married, he would be able to be intimate with his wife and support her. But he is not interested. It's not disliked for him to get married. But dedicating himself to worship is better. If he is worshipful. If he is worshipful, then dedicating himself to worship is better. This one who is uninterested, although he can perform and he can afford it. That's if he's worshipful and marriage would interrupt his worship, distract him from his worship. That is indeed something to consider for anyone who is worshipful, male or female. And the knowledge is like the worship, according to Al-Mawardi. Yani, someone, he doesn't have performance problems and he can afford it, but he's not interested and he is studious, then studying is better. Is studious, then studying is better, but it's not disliked for him to get married. However, if he's not worshipful or studious, then marriage is better. If he's not worshipful or studious, then marriage. If he's not worshipful or studious, then marriage is better. So that his idle time does not lead to heinous behavior. Yani, he's not interested in marriage, but he's not occupying his time with worship or study. Also, then let him get married. Will be better for him. What appears from what Abu Shuja said is that it's recommended for a woman to get married. The recommendation of marriage for a woman, the recommendation of marriage for a woman is like the recommendation of marriage for a man. So now we can talk about the woman. When it's recommended for a woman to get married, and that's what some scholars explicitly say. Yani, Abu Shuja said, النكاح مستحب لمن احتاج إليه. Marriage is recommended for who needs it. So, who? This means male or female. For who needs it? Who here is a male or a female? Apparently, that's what appears. It appears that Abu Shuja, when he says it's recommended for who needs it, that he's talking about males and females. That's what appears. And some scholars say explicitly that That exact thing. Yani, they do blatantly say it's recommended for a woman to get married like it's recommended for a man to get married. Yani, these circumstances for a man to be recommended to get married are the same as for a woman, with not including, though, being able to afford it, because she doesn't have to be able to afford it. So it is recommended for her if she is desirous of marriage, meaning for her to seek from her guardian to get her married. Yani, that's an ideal situation there. Yani, a woman who has a guardian to go to and talk to him to help her get married, then let her do so. And perhaps there's a woman who's, for example, maybe she's an older woman, a mature woman who knows how to take care of her affairs, then she still needs the guardian to get married according to the Shafi'i school. So if we just stick to the Shafi'i school, which is what we're going to do unless we say otherwise, there's no escape from a guardian. But if she's an older woman, yani, she can handle her own affairs as far as trying to take care of something she needs to take care of. Even if she is unable to fulfill the rights of a husband, even if she is unable to fulfill the rights of a husband, she needs to get married, then recommended for her. So that's different from a man. Her being able to fulfill the rights of a husband is like a man being able to afford getting married. From the male's perspective, he needs to afford to get married. From the female's perspective, she needs to be able to fulfill the rights of a husband. For a man to be able to, yani, to desire marriage and to afford it would make it recommended for him to get married. For a woman to desire marriage is enough for it to be recommended for her to get married, even if she cannot fulfill the rights of a husband, as Shafi'i documented in Al But I don't know how to explain that though. And elsewhere, and he documented that elsewhere, because marriage has preservation of religion for her. And marriage has preservation of the private parts for her. And marriage has the benefit of spousal support for her. And other things. Sheikh Abdullah, rahimahullah, he said, in reality, a woman would commit zina more than a man would. But except for a man being more daring, except for a man being more daring, yani, except for that a woman might be shyer than a man would be more bold, more brazen than a woman. Otherwise, the potential for her to commit zina is more. So getting married for her is good for her protection. Also, similar to a woman who is desirous of marriage, is a woman who needs support. Yani, she's poor. She's maybe homeless or about to be homeless. And if she could get married to someone who would support her, this would spare her from this trouble. Then it's recommended for her to get married. And you don't say here, she just wants him for his money. Rather, you say here, Alhamdulillah, the religion guides us to the wise deeds. Yeah, she needs the money, so mashallah, it's okay. She might need that money just like the man might need a woman. Then you're going to say he only wants her for her body. This institution of marriage is very important, or else the human will be corrupted. It has many benefits. A woman might even get married so she can travel. She might say, brother, I need you to do me a favor. Look, I need to travel. Will you do a marriage contract with me? And maybe she'll say, if you don't mind to do me this favor, maybe you will not consummate with me. Just do the marriage with me so you can travel. We can travel, and then I'll waive the dowry for you, and maybe we can go our separate ways when this is all over. Just as an example here, to show you the usefulness of learning the knowledge of the religion, and also yani just dealing with people, Muslims who have knowledge. Then you can maneuver. More knowledge you have, the more you can maneuver and do things. So similar to a woman who's desirous of marriage is a woman who needs support. And also a woman who fears being rushed by wicked men. Now, I don't have a scenario. I only have an imagination here. You said, can you repeat what you said about this institution of marriage? Yeah, this institution of marriage is very important. If not for that, then the human being will be corrupted. Look, Yani, look at society, some of these societies, modern societies now, Western in particular, like United States. Someone just sent me something. A woman, when they did the DNA test, which is invalid, DNA test is invalid. DNA test is invalid. When they did the DNA test, they say, he is not the father. Fulan's not the father, and Fulan's not the father. So then the judge said to her, do you know who is the father of your child? So she said, no, I don't. SubhanAllah wa bihamdi. How many? How much that is now? A lot. How many children don't know their fathers? A lot. Yani, they don't even have fathers technically because their mothers didn't get married. DNA testing is invalid. Yeah, it's not valid. That's what you do. I get a DNA kit. Go go get the blood of a chicken, for example. Send it into the DNA place. They're going to tell you, oh, your ancestors are from Germany. You understand? MashaAllah. So it is recommended for a woman to get married if she is desirous of marriage. And it's recommended for a woman to get married if she needs spousal support. Yani, she needs support. And it is recommended for a woman to get married if she fears being rushed by wicked men. Iqtiham, rush, this word rush is translated from the Arabic word iqtiham, the rush, the bum rush, the swarming in, rushing in, something like this. Invasion. So I don't have a scenario. I didn't learn a scenario that goes with this sentence here. Or fear of being rushed by wicked men. I only have imagination here. But some women, they are promiscuous. So the promiscuous woman, let her get married, inshallah, so that this can be protection for her. It's disliked for the woman to get married if she does not need marriage, nor does she need support, nor does she fear being rushed by wicked men if she cannot fulfill the rights of a husband. because she will become bound to this husband and distracted from worship. Okay. And it's indifferent for her, meaning whether she got married or she didn't get married is the same if she is able to fulfill the rights of a husband, though she is uninterested in marriage. She's able to fulfill the rights of a husband, but uninterested in marriage. And whether she gets married or not is the same. Mubah. However, dedicating herself to worship is better. Any question? Now, this information is a little bit out of order because I just am compiling this as I give you the lesson. And before the lesson, when I get ready for the lesson, I review and add information. So it's not in the best order yet, right now. Some things will get switched around, just so you know. Like what happened here in terms of the order of information. In terms of the order of information here, we said that the man, he could be desirous of marriage and he might afford it too. He desires it and he can afford it. Or maybe he doesn't desire it, or maybe he can't afford it. So we talked about all of that there. Could be disliked for him, might not be disliked for him. Then we have all this talk about the woman. But then right after that, it's going to come back and talk about what it means to be able to afford marriage. So it means this talk about the woman is out of place. Needs to be delayed. But it's okay for today. I really wanted to cover this for you today anyway. I will most likely take this section and delay it after some paragraphs. What does it mean for the man to be able to afford marriage? Let's answer that question. This person who needs marriage, either he can afford it or he can't afford it. What does it mean to be able to afford it? If he can afford it, this means he can pay the immediately due portion of the dowry. What does she want as a dowry? And you agree to, you who wants to marry this woman. You tell her, what do you want for a dowry? And then she tells you what she wants. Okay. Do you agree? You have to agree. If you don't agree, then negotiate. Say to her, nah, that's too much. How about this? She might say, nah, that's too little. How about this? For example, come to an agreement. So then, whatever you agree to, whatever is immediately due of that dowry, if you can pay it now, that's part of affording marriage. So this means not necessarily paying the entire dowry is affording marriage. Whatever is due. And the maintenance for the day and the night of the wedding. The maintenance for the day and the night of the wedding. Not 2 days, not 1 week, 2 weeks, not a month, not a year. The maintenance for the day and the night of the wedding. Yani he can feed her, he can lodge her that day and night. What about the next day? Now you're going to deal with that when he comes. As for what we are talking about right now, we're just talking about his being able to afford it. What does it mean? What's the bare minimum of being able to afford marriage? And therefore establishing that it's recommended for him to do so? Being able to provide the maintenance for the day and the night of the wedding. And 3, being able to afford the clothing that is appropriate for the season of consummation. Yani, is it the summer season? Is it the winter season? This season in which one will consummate with his wife, can he afford the outfit for that season? Because he has to provide his wife with 2 outfits per year. one for the summer season, one for the winter season. So can he afford the outfit for the season of the consummation? So if he can afford what is due of the dowry and the maintenance for the day and the night of the wedding and the outfit of the season of consummation, then it is recommended for him to get married. Now we're saying he can afford it. Whether he is dedicated to full-time worship or not, he might be a very worshipful man. This is going to be lucky, inshallah, if he's good Muslim. Very worshipful. But when he is very worshipful, he still needs to be mindful of his wife's feelings. You said earlier when you mentioned the person who was undesirous of marriage, did you mean asexual? No, I didn't mean that. Not that. Just he's not pressed. Yani the desire to be with a woman is not on his mind, is not distracting him. Inshallah, that's clear. You're welcome. So if he desires marriage and he can afford marriage, then it's recommended for him to get married, even if he is a full-time worshiper. And even if he's castrated, yani, but he can perform. Even if he's castrated but able to perform, then it's recommended for him to get married. Oh, I wasn't reading the Arabic here. I'll next time, inshallah. This is because of the saying of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wa sallam, Ya ma'shara al-shabab, man istata'a minkum al-ba'ata falyatazawwaj, فإنه أغض للبصر وأحصن للفرج ومن لم يستطع فعليه بالصوم فإنه له وجاء. Oh, come out, Clark. Oh, assembly of youths. Oh, young men. Any one of you who can afford. Man istata'a minkum al-ba'a. Any one of you who can afford the expense. Then let him marry. For it is more effective in lowering the gaze and for guarding the chastity. And whoever is unable, then let him fast, for it will be a shield for him. This fasting, though, sometimes requires days. Not one single time, just fasted one day means and now you're calm. If one's desire is not broken by fasting, that's the case of some people. They really desire marriage, meaning they need it. They really need to get married, and Allah didn't make it easy for them to find a spouse. And it is a very distracting part of their lives at the time. And so they need to fast. And then they fast, and they don't find that this breaks their desire. So first of all, if it's only 1 day or 2 days, might not break your desire. You need to fast some days so that your body can weaken. It's the weakening of the body that makes the fasting. That is the reason for fasting here. But if one's desire is not broken by fasting, then it's forbidden to break the desire by the likes of camphor. Camphor, this resin, it's like a paste. It's the stuff that mothballs are made of. You know, mothballs. This stuff, camphor, and they put it even in some. Don't they put that in halls? Think so. And don't they put that in some balms? Like if you have muscle ache, there's camphor in there. If you know the smell, then you know camphor when you smell it. This stuff will or can affect your sexual desire. It's haram to break your desire by the likes of camphor. This is the way it's worded in some of the books. Binahwil kafur, the likes of camphor. And what he, I don't know what's like camphor, first of all. Something other than camphor that's like camphor, I don't know what it is. But what's meant here is eating it. Eating the camphor will destroy your sexual desire. And then you're going to become asexual, like someone was just asking. And you don't want, you're not even interested. He said, you heard Sheikh Abdullah said to avoid that. Yani, it's haram to eat it. This is what we learned. Eating it will destroy your sexual desire. And Sheikh Muhammad Sulaiman told us that some armies put camphor into the food so to calm their soldiers down, so their soldiers will not be needing women as much. Rather, he should marry instead of breaking his desire by camphor. And fasting is not working, then he should marry. Because camphor is a type of castration, so it is forbidden. And if it weakens the desire without eradicating it, it's disliked. How will weaken the desire only by sniffing it? So ever since I learned that, then I became weary of like those, what is that stuff called? Bengay, that balm for muscle aches, has camphor in there. SubhanAllah. But apparently people use that with no problems. Yani, there's some societies, they have many children, and they use camphor in different things. So just be careful. Wallahu alam. We'll stop there. Any question? Can the castrated male still feel pleasure? I never heard about it, not religiously, nor did I ever hear such a conversation in the barbershop. Well, Yani, if he still has nerves there, then probably he can still feel pleasure. He said, is it haram to take a medication that may affect one's desire? Not necessarily haram. That might be a side effect. But what we are saying here is that it is haram to consume what will destroy, completely obliterate one's sexual desire. That's haram. What does castration mean? Castration is the removal of the testicles. Question: is marriage recommended if he already has a wife but still desires more? I don't know. But some men, you need to know, some men, they need more than one wife. That's the case. You didn't know, then no. Will I cover those cases later about the man who already has a wife? If I have it in my information, as I am gathering uh, as I prepare these lessons and I gather the information, if I have it, I'll share it with you, inshallah. Or if I learn about it, I'll share it with you.